Welcome to Sunset, Valorant's new map based in Los Angeles. The map features a traditional 3-lane setup with very close spawn barriers and a mid door that defenders can control, similar to Ascent. Towards A, there is a fork that allows for 2 paths to site. The left path is a quicker route, while the right path is a longer, more narrow option that leads to back site. This site design reminds me a lot of Fractures since it has 2 lanes that converge onto site. B should feel pretty familiar as it takes inspiration from B site on Split, with its central pillar and market area reflecting B tower just on the ground. CT is also located back site. It seems like Riot tried to improve on Split's B site by simplifying things a little bit. Mid feels pretty standard with a staple-shaped wall and a triple box structure that provides cover while crossing mid to market. It's still early to determine meta agents on this map, but considering its size and narrow chokes surrounding mid and both sites, dome smokers like Astra, Omen, and Brim will have a lot of play on attack and defense. But you're here for one controller, and that's Astra. I'm chill, and let's get into it. Before we get into setups, I'll quickly go over some options for pistol round on attack and defense. I typically go into pistol with either 3 stars and a ghost, or 3 stars and light shield. Depends how crisp I'm feeling with the ghost that day. On defense, it's pretty flexible where you can play, but as Astra, playing on one of the sites will allow you to time your smoke and grab well more accurately. You can place 2 stars in the main chokes leading to the site you're playing on. Save your 3rd star for a reactive play like a smoke in mid or for retaking. On attack, you'll most likely be rushing a site immediately, so you can use 2 execute smokes and 1 star for a post-plant suck or another smoke depending on the situation. Typically, as Astra, it's good to show presence and put constant pressure on the defenders by placing a couple default stars. This can be in places like mid and A, or mid and B, for example. The defenders won't want to rotate too early because your stars are still there. Once you decide to hit a site, you can recall that star to use in post-plant. Speaking of recalls, let's talk about a few that you can use. Recalls can be used for a number of reasons, like showing presence in an area you may or may not be, help you gain an advantageous angle, or get across dangerous areas. This first one can help you more safely get across tiles to bottom mid. You may want to use this if you're playing a default setup with your team and need to rotate to B. The next one can be used if you're lurking mid or just want to quietly walk up mid to market with your teammates. Make sure to smoke top mid first before you use this one. Last, we can use one in A elbow where the hall gets narrow. You can't silently cross without being exposed to the choke to sight, and it'll dissipate before you're fully in cover, so you could use this to gain some peeker's advantage in an off angle. Either that, or you can smoke it and use it to listen for defenders rotating. Alright, let's get into the setups for each site, starting with A. When approaching this crossfire fork that leads to A site, you may want to consider using a concuss or grab well on the left side to deter eager defenders from contesting this space. Could come in handy during a fast rush to site. When executing A, you can either head down the left side, which gets you to site quickly, or you can split site by going elbow. You can smoke A link and prepare the next smoke for alley once the elbow teammates need it. If you suspect an enemy playing in a rat spot elbow, a concuss may work well here. If you have a star left over, you can use Gravwell to suck defenders off the bomb, but remember that Gravwell was recently nerfed, so that suck may take slightly longer than you remember. When ulting A to take site, you can position the wall so it blocks alley and A link. Use this little indent in elbow to line up the wall, but it doesn't need to be perfect. A strong position you can hold after the wall goes down is this nice little crossfire with an agent that can get on top of the site box, like Jet or Raze. Let's take a look at how we can use Astra to take some mid control. First, we'll start with the setup. Your main mid smoke will go in top mid, denying vision of that defender. Think of it like a default smoke that's similar to smoking vents on Split. Next, we can place a star in door leading to market. This will create a threat the defender playing this position will have to respect. You can grab well, concuss, or even recall this star depending on the situation. That last smoke on the other side of market is a bit of a tricky one. If you're splitting B from mid and B main, you probably won't want to smoke this as it'll split up your connection with the attackers hitting site and could give the market defender unintended cover. A better idea would be to grab well this. The defender playing market will either be trapped by the well or forced to peek out from the info box. If you decide to take mid and go A, you can always recall this star for later use. Now we have a potential lurk opportunity using this mid smoke. You need to put the smoke a little deeper into the top mid choke so you can sneak out the left or right side of it. You can either choose to get aggressive with this lurk or push through it, or simply wait outside of it for a rotating defender. Lurking is about feel and gaining information, so try different lurks on this map and see what you can find. When approaching B main, you may get some resistance from the defenders challenging the ult orb. A decent concuss you can use is right before the B main box. This both hides the star from defender vision, and if they get too aggressive with their positioning, you can force them out of cover. Here's what your site execute stars can look like. Pretty standard smokes for market and boba, or CT, whatever you want to call it, and two options for defenders fighting for site control. One can go behind the pillar to the right, and the other can go in the close left cubby up the stairs. If you're executing B by splitting and you have teammates coming from mid through market, you may need to gravity well that market star instead of smoking it. These are just some ideas, so experiment with different combinations to fit your team's execute needs. For post plant, it seems the two most common plant positions are in front of the pillar, allowing market and B main players to crossfire the bomb, and the other is on stairs, which is a safer option but cuts off vision from market. Regardless, a post-plant grav well can work wonders as usual. Next, we have the execute wall. I really like this one because it gives you full site control as long as you smoke or control market. Not only that, it travels across the key choke points of the map in mid and A, which you can use to fake site hits with utility while sneaking up on the other side of the map, still having that wall protection wherever you go. Alright, let's switch over to defense. Like I said in the beginning, you'll most likely be playing on site where you can activate your smoke grab well combo, but you can be flexible with this. On a full buy round, you'll usually want to place 3 stars down, 2 on your site and 1 on the other site's main choke. Your 4th star can be used as a reactive star. Let's head over to A first, where we can use this smoke to contest the ult orb in A main. Unless you have full info that the attackers are hitting B, make sure to have a teammate help you by watching the smoke or playing anti-flash. For your typical A setup, you can place a pre-round star in A main and a grav well in front of it so you can quickly pop these stars during an A rush. You can also help your elbow teammate by placing a smoke in the narrow portion of elbow, or if they get picked, you can place the deeper elbow smoke, denying the elbow player's vision of sight. During retake, depending on the stars you have left, you can either smoke bomb to defuse, or smoke elbow and either the normal A main smoke, or one a little closer to sight. This will really depend where you retake sight from and what info you have on attacker positions. If you're fortunate enough to have your ult, you can place your wall across the A main choke through elbow. Remember, with the wall changes, the attackers won't hear the defuse on the other side of the wall. There are other options for this wall, but the general idea is to wall close to the bomb so the attackers take longer to get to you and are forced to push. Okay, let's shift over to mid. If you're playing mid, you may want to consider smoking bottom mid, but make sure you have stars set up towards A or B. Here's an example of a mid/A setup. If the attackers take mid, you can try to deny them that space by smoking bottom mid and tiles, similar to how you would control mid on ascent. The tiles area is very close to top mid, so be careful as the attackers may push you very early in the round. Alternatively, you have the option to place B main stars. Nothing else much to add here. The mid area feels reminiscent of Ascent's mid area with some slight differences, so I'd expect it to play similarly with less top mid pressure and more market pressure from the attackers. Finally, we have our defense B setup. If you want to contest that orb in B main, you can do a similar tactic of smoking the top of the steps. Probably a safe bet to have your market teammate help you out here, just like A's ult orb capture. For your regular B setup, you have your smoke and grav well in B main, and a star over on A or mid. Nothing special here. However, in the event of a B split from mid, you have a couple smoke options. First is the normal market smoke, which can be used if your teammate gets picked or for retake scenarios. However, this spot may already be smoked by the attackers if it's a full B main rush, so it'll depend on the situation. An alternative is this more passive smoke at the bottom of market's narrow stairway. This smoke can be used after the attackers rush mid and break the door. You can spray through this smoke to try and get a pick as attackers cross through market to site. Alright, for our first retake option, assuming the bomb is planted on stairs, you can use this smoke on the left side of site to safely cross over from CT. If you have a second smoke, it can either go in B main or on the bomb. The second option is for when the bomb is planted in front pillar. This is when you'll want to smoke market instead, but remember that bomb smoke is often your best bet. Retaking with your wall should feel very familiar to other maps like Ascent and Split. For both retake walls, you'll want to try and wall as close to the bomb as you can while cutting off market and B main. If it's on the stairs, you can move the wall further up, forcing attackers to push through a very narrow area where you can easily pick them off. And that's going to be it for this one. If you found the video helpful, drop a like and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see from me in the future. Subscribe for more guides like this one and check out this one next for more. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.